I guarantee you, Da Vinci had this issue, Michelangelo had this issue. Then you roll it up, guess what you got? A booger. 4W Hunt asks, what is your favorite adhesive to use when leather crafting? You know, there's so many different adhesives out there. I'm going to really focus on the one that I like to use. It's tried and true, it's old school, and I know if I have to, I can heat it up to pull it apart. That's contact cement. Contact cement comes in two different varieties. What I have right here is the one in the bottle that has a little brush with it. It's really similar to what you used when you were back in elementary school. And then it also comes in a tube. It's really easy to use. It brushes on. You put it on, you set it, you pull it apart, you let it dry, and you put it back together. I like to use one of these lids that comes on sour cream, butter, whatever you have. I just save these, and I put a little bit on there, and I use one of these silicone spreaders. Just take it, brush it on real nice and easy. And the best part is, this is the fun part. This is what I used to do when I was a kid. We used to have fights. It pulls right off. If we could take a look at this right here. Just pulls right off like that. Then you roll it up. Guess what you got? A booger. That's right. That's what we used to call it. When I was in, I think it was second grade art class, we were using rubber cement. And we were rolling little boogers out of the rubber cement. And I remember there was, at my table, there was Chrissy and Chad. And Chad said he was the booger king. And he would roll all these little boogers. And Chrissy was the booger queen. I don't know, man, just kind of funny the things you remember when you were younger. But definitely rubber cement. It's been around forever. Your grandfather, probably your great-grandfather used it. Really easy to use. A lot of people have issues with the fumes. I've never had an issue with the fumes, but I do have to say it is my preferred method of adhesive. Casey Roberts, 918, asked, what would be some pitfalls for us leather workers to watch out for? I've been making belts, bags, wallets, and purses for a while, but I get frustrated because my items do not come out picture perfect. Casey Roberts, I have something to tell you. You're not the only one. Everyone, and I mean everyone, has had this issue. I guarantee you, Da Vinci had this issue, Michelangelo had this issue, all the famous artists, writers have had this issue. Here's the secret about art. Because when you're making something in your workshop, you are creating art, whether you realize it or not. It is your own style. You're going to maybe mimic other people's styles to find your own voice in your artwork, but it's art. And the thing about an artist is the artist always knows and can identify his or her own flaws. It's really that simple. I bet half of what you see, other people don't see. And the other half just adds character a lot of times. Now, you do want to try to make the best product that you absolutely can, but don't kill yourself to make it picture perfect. Practice, practice, practice is the best way to make your stuff look better. And if you've practiced and you've practiced and you've practiced and you still see a little flaw here or there, don't stress over it. I promise you it's going to be okay. And when you get to that point where you've practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced and you still make it and there's still a flaw here or there, most likely no one is going to notice it. I can promise you. Thanks for your question. The Penguin Gentleman asked, what's the one leatherworking project you've always dreamed of completing, but you haven't gotten a chance to work on yet? That is a very good question, because we all have those projects. I don't know if you called it Albatross or whatever. You get something in your mind, you want to make it, and when you want to make it, you've been building it up, you want to make it perfect. So you're kind of scared sometimes. I'm not the best with hand tooling, and by no means am I someone that should be teaching anyone hand tooling at this point in my leather crafting career. The one thing that I'd really love to make is a hand tooled motorcycle seat, but I'm not anywhere near where I need to be with my hand tooling. So I need to practice my hand tooling, then I can get it done. As far as other projects, I'm not the biggest fan of stitching. Now, I have been practicing stitching lately, and I need to practice it a whole lot more. I promise you that. So I've kind of been spare with my stitching projects or my stitching demonstrations, and I wanted to do my research. And after I do my research, I want to practice a few different techniques, a few different methods, a few different materials. We're getting to that point now. As a matter of fact, everyone who's watching this should subscribe right now, because what I'm going to do in the future, in the very near future, is going to have a project that's going to require some stitching. I'm going to have a template to put it together, and it's going to be a project that I've been wanting to make for a while, and I'm very excited to make, and I would love to share it with you guys. If you would like to see this project, please definitely subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you for your question. And the final question is from Samantha Orchard, 6174. Samantha says, I'm just thinking of basic leather work for now. How do I get started? Samantha, I am really glad you asked this question. Same way you start everything else. Sit down, you start working on it, you go knee deep into it. Practice it, try it, see what's going on. Now, how do you get to that point? You just don't wake up one day and do that. You are going to need some basic tools. And if you go back to some of my other videos, I have covered some basic tools for leather crafters. And a lot of it's stuff that you already have at home. There's maybe a few things that you would need to purchase in order to do some basic leather craft. That might be some punches, a cutting mat if you don't have a cutting mat. But most people have some type of hammer or mallet at home. Most people have utility knives. I'm going to leave a link to join my newsletter in the pinned comment below. And when you join my newsletter, I'm going to automatically send you some PDF patterns to get you started with some basic projects. Once you have the tools and the projects, all you need to do is sit down and get started. If you have a question you want me to answer, I would love to hear about it. Please leave your question in the comment below, and I'll do my best to answer it as soon as I possibly can. Remember, Big Stacks grows, Big Stacks builds, and Big Stacks makes. I'll see you guys next time at Big Stacks Small Workshop.